passe à son.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome, my friend, to a wonderful podcast where we broadcast live from a place called Cafe Anyway. My name is Mike Matthews. We're somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. Today, I will be speaking with Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley, plus a
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Fantastic San Francisco band featuring a husband and wife called CONSTANT COOGAN.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
You will be just utterly amazed by what you hear on the show. And I was doing something and it was so awesome yesterday I did the interview. Today I brought it to give to you, and these lyrics are wonderful, aren't they? I wrote them
Mike's Daily Podcast
over a several day span, and it took me, I was filled with
Mike's
angst and
Daily
confusion
Podcast
in writing these lyrics. Similar to probably what Alanis Morissette felt when she was writing Jagged Little Pill. Similar to what Joni Mitchell was feeling when she was writing about them. Sorry, I got a little carried away. I enjoyed a very wonderful day today in Podcastro Valley. It was a 50-year anniversary celebration of Lake Chabot, the wonderful lake that adorns Podcastro Valley. And they had hot dogs, chips, and a Coke for only $1. Altogether, that meal, fantastic meal, in honor of what prices were 50 years ago. And there was music. There was a band doing an awesome cover of all these songs from, what was they called? The Doobie Brothers. And guy, Steve Miller Band, Eagles, all that classic rock stuff. They were sounding better than what those performers would sound like today if they were performing those songs. Oh wait, I probably shouldn't have said that because one of the Eagles has died. That was very insensitive, Mike. That's all. Well, I feel better after what I just did there. Look who just walked in.
Hello, welcome, it's Madame Rootabega. I can't wait to hear about this wonderful band called CONSTANT COOGAN. Oh,
yeah, it's gonna be great. We had a fun little interview in San Francisco yesterday, so that's great. Where's the other people that come in right now?
Hello, dear Mike. It's Valentino, the passing attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Wonderful. Let's get to the interview. Oh, by the way, Mike'sDailyPodcast.com is where you can find all the past interviews, see the podcast picture. Oh, speaking of the podcast picture.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Here it is. That's it right there. See it? Right there. It's actually, you can see the Golden Gate Bridge in the background. It's a beautiful sunset from the lovely Point Isabel, where you can take your dog and let your dog run around free and play with other dogs. It's one of the biggest, most beautiful dog parks in all of the world in the Bay Area. Perfect Bay Area views. You can see Alcatraz, the Bay Bridge, the Richmond Bridge, all there. And it's there at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. You can see that picture. And all the past interviews, and if you want to help out the show through that link to Amazon, it helps us out. If you click on the Amazon link and, purchase whatever it was you're going to buy on Amazon. And also, if you want to donate through the PayPal, that's there at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. And you get a special greeting from all the Cafe Anyway characters. Now, time for Into an Interview, live from the Mike on Mobile with CONSTANT COOGAN.
Into an interview. Mike on Mobile.
So the word CONSTANT COOGAN, I thought you were saying CONSTANT COOGAN, like a German thing, like constant cake is what that means. But it's your last names.
Yes, it's both of our last names.
That's Jen and Matt.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you? You guys are married.
Yes, we are. For, 5 years now? 6 years now?
6 years.
And we're meeting at a coffee place in San Francisco. Francisco. We're right by Market Street, so here we are. We are definitely, and you were definitely a San Francisco band, because here we are. It's exciting. Now, your sound, there's a lot of cool piano in it, and lyrics, and your voice, and it's just a fantastic band. It's awesome. What is the name of your new album?
Our new album is called Bury Me Alive. It's based off of our single Bury Me Alive, which is about overcoming shyness and social anxiety, which is something that I've dealt with for most of my life, but have struggled to overcome through theater and music and other outlets.
And you're performing music in front of people and audiences and stuff, so that you would have to get over that somehow.
Yeah, well, luckily we started in theater, so it's easier to like have a character to almost hide behind a little bit, and they really teach you to look past the audience and not really acknowledge the fact that they're there, versus live music where you kind of sing more to the audience and try to relate to people one-on-one.
Oh, take me back to your first, play or musical, or your first stage performance. What was that?
Well, I was in the Music Man at age 7. I was in the kids band in Denver, Colorado, and I loved it. The stage is just an addicting and wonderful place to be, and I think I was hooked from the beginning.
Denver, Colorado?
Yeah.
A big theater scene?
A little bit. I really only lived there till I was 10.
Oh.
And then I moved to Northern Nevada area, which, believe it or not, actually does have a pretty thriving theater community. It's almost like there's something in the water out there.
Really?
Yeah, it's really strange. But like in the Reno, Tahoe, Carson City area, there are so many talented kids and so many instructors who just want to encourage and help and further their careers. It's amazing.
So, how did you get here to San Francisco? And the buses and it's like rush hour too right now on a Friday. So, how did you get to rush hour?
Well, it's been crazy getting here. Actually, Matt and I lived in Lake Tahoe for about 10 years, and we were doing theater up there. We loved the food scene as well, so we had a little food truck and a catering company, and we just caught the music bug so hard that we realized that we needed to pursue it, and we sold our food truck, we sold our business, and we were just starting to really make waves in the community. We were the first food truck in Tahoe, and we were on the cover of the paper and getting calls constantly, but we felt San Francisco calling. We would come out here for one-day trips and just fall in love. It just called our hearts, and we felt a change coming, and we just said, you know what, we're not getting any younger. Music is our passion. If we're going to do this, let's go all in. So we sold everything and headed out here about 2.5 years ago.
Really? Wow. What was the food truck? What were you making in the food truck? Anything in particular?
Yeah, Jen actually came up with all the recipes. And the food truck was called the Yum Truck. And our most famous thing, I would say, was our Bombay taco. It was like a tiki masala chicken taco that had cilantro and toasted almonds on it. And people lost their minds for that. And then we had things like our hot bitch slider or our WTF dog.
Wait, what's in the... Did you say hot bitch slider?
Yeah, Jen, why don't you tell them a little bit about that?
It was a seasoned patty with sriracha mayo and then a jalapeno onion relish on it, and then we serve it on a Hawaiian sweet roll. But people just loved it, and they loved the word hot bitch. And we would have it at farmers markets where there were families and stuff, and people would have their kids come stand next to our menu and take pictures of their kids next to that menu item, and we're like, oh, I figured they'd be complaining about it, but it was a fun time.
I fooled you. You're not actually on Mike's Daily Podcast. You're on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. I'm Guy Fieri. Jen, tell me about your bitch taco.
Well, first you take some some chicken and you slap it in a bowl and add some garam masala and sprinkle it all up and cook it and you add bacon and I think he adds bacon to everything.
Why do I talk like this? I'm from like Humboldt or something.
Right? That's so funny.
This is off the hook. Well, it sounds like something he would definitely want to check out, but maybe you can resurrect it one day for him.
Someday. I'll make him a taco if he comes to see our band.
And then play some music for him. That's amazing. Wow. So how did you two meet then? This seems like all this magic that you two created. There's so much creativity for my mouth and my ears.
Well, believe it or not, we met down in Las Vegas at the Venetian Hotel. We were both gondoliers.
I love that. Wait, did you say you were both gondoliers on that fake water in the sort of like the Disneyland Pirates of the Caribbean, but you're like in Venetia? I love that hotel.
Yeah, fake water, fake Venice. We both had a fake name and a fake story about how we came from Italy. And
wait! Before you go any further, I have to say I'm having a huge iced mocha, and it just reminded me of the Venetian because I went there with my ex-wife. We stayed across the street at what's the one with the pirates?
Treasure Island.
And I would go over the bridge to the Venetian, and they have a coffee bean and tea leaf in there, which they're all over Southern California. There's a couple here in San Francisco, but there's a couple, and they make this huge mocha, this coffee bean and tea leaf in the Venetian that I had never seen a coffee bean and tea leaf make this huge size. Anyway, that's what I remember most about the Venetian. And I'd go in past the gondoliers. And so what was your fake backstory?
Well, my name was Elisabetta, and I came from Verona, and I lost all of my family when I was very, very young. And since my Italian accent was a little bit off, I also spent some time in Ireland, which is where you hear the bit of twang. But then I moved to Las Vegas. I find a job on a boat where I can sing and make good money.
What was your backstory, man? I have so many questions about that, but where were you from, Matt?
Mi chiamo Matteo Briccone, gondoliere extraordinari.
Oh my God!
My family, they send me from a smaller village to the big city of Las Vegas, baby. And I meet the beautiful Elisabetta Barta, and I teach her how to take a gondola from point A to point B while singing like lovely bird. And this is how we truly meet, fall in love, bella voce molto bene.
I can see why you fell in love, Jen.
It's nonstop over here.
Wow. Dang, I feel like I've been in Venice now. That's amazing. So was that like hard work to push it with the stick, the boat?
It's not too bad.
No, it was a lot of people think it's connected to the floor and it runs on a chain, but it's a free floating boat that the gondolier has to use the oars called the remo. You have to use the remo for, and there's a little electric battery powered motor in there that the United States Coast Guard made us put in there in the event it gets too windy and our boats would blow.
Oh, because you're outside.
Yeah, they're outside.
Because there's an outside one. That's right. There's the outside near Madame Tussauds and the bridges, exactly. And you got the beautiful whatever they call that tower.
Piazza San Marco? No, St. Mark's. Oh my goodness!
It's been a long time.
Yeah, the big tower, that thing. But it's
the bell tower.
The bell tower. And then there's usually, isn't there a Jumbotron over there showing David Spade's face every 5 seconds?
Pretty much. We would watch it on repeat sometimes under the bridges.
And falling in love, the two of you, as you watch that. And wow, what an amazing... So somehow, how did you guys realize, hey, we're both musical, let's make music together?
Well, after we left Vegas, we moved up to the Tahoe area, where we discovered the world of special events and catering and musical theater and just kind of stuff in your life that makes you go, pow, bing, bing. So we started getting involved in that and hucking ourselves in the local theater community.
Oh, okay.
And then, we did the show Rent. I got to play Maureen, and Matt was Mark.
Wait, what does she sing? I actually have never seen it, but I've heard some of the music.
Maureen's the crazy one that does the Over the Moon performance piece, and she does the lesbian song called "Take Me or Leave Me." It's really good.
Did you? I had no question there. What was it like to sing Rent? It seems like such a really amazing...
It changed our lives.
Really?
That show, more than any other show we've done, changed our lives forever.
Why?
The theme, No Day But Today. It makes you realize, it makes you look at your own life when you're so invested in these other characters that are really living, that are really dying, that are really alone, and that are really just looking for love. And when you take all that from such a small cast and you're so focused on those emotions, and then you leave at the end of the day and you start looking at your own life, everything kind of gets put into priority. There's really no question about what you should be doing. It's about what makes you feel loved and what makes you happy, because in reality, there really is no day but today. What happens if tomorrow doesn't come?
Oh, yeah.
And it was that, intensity of feeling the clock ticking that, pushed our move to San Francisco, because that was our last show there. The show ended, and we felt a real emptiness, and playing live music kind of happened at that same time. The show ended. I decided to start playing the piano, and it all just kind of spun out of control from there. And San Francisco and everything just seemed like it had to happen now, because life's too short,
Well, I want to ask you about Barbra Streisand and other things, but I want to play Confetti. Tell me what inspired this one.
Well, after we moved to San Francisco, it wasn't as easy as we thought it would be. There was a lot of struggle. It was a lot of culture shock, and it was really, really hard. We didn't know anybody. We didn't know any of the names of the streets or anything really. And after struggling for 6 months or so, we came across this musicians community here in the city that's called Balanced Breakfast, and there's another one called the Casey Turner Songwriting Coffee. And these morning coffee communities, you just get to meet up with other musicians and discuss what you're going through with your art, and it just really helped connect us with all the people here, and it was our lives started falling into place finally, and it was just everything started to take a turn and become a little bit more perfect. And Confetti's just about those moments where it turns and everything is just right in the world for just a couple minutes,
It seems my heart has left my body tonight.
So you said San Francisco was confusing, and that's true, because I went to the wrong Pete's. We were supposed to meet at this one, and I got confused just there, and they were across the street from each other. And then as I was trying to find you guys, I passed by 2 or 3 millennial types that were on their cell phones, not texting, but screaming into their phones, going, "Where are you? You've got to give me a landmark that I can see." And so, because I thought that generation was all about texting, and but now it's actually necessary to talk into your phone sometimes. But you've made some sense out of it.
Yeah, it started coming together. It's bit by bit, and I think you just get more used to the craziness, maybe, or maybe you just start to adapt to it and become more fast-paced and crazy yourself. I don't know, but it does get easier and more fun for sure.
How are you recording these songs? songs. How did you? Where did you go to record them?
We went to Platinum Wave Studios, which is located outside of Sacramento in Galt, California. I worked with the producer and engineer Mario Litchfield, who's from the band Litchfield, and he did my first EP that I did a couple years ago as a solo artist, and I really like the work that he does, as well as his like professional attitude. And coming back with a band this time was just incredible, having Matt and Ben there and filling in all the parts, and it really became more of like a collaborative effort this time, and it was a blast.
Yeah, because like, how did you find how it's got this sound, you know, with the, I mean, it just seems, I don't know, how did they do it? It's like, did you kind of play with these songs? Like, I wanted to play the singles, You're Not the First. I'm going to play that right now. Like, tell me about this, putting this one together.
Well, this one, for me, I wrote it kind of as a dedication to my ancestors in a way. You know, they're
not Venetians?
They're not Venetians, no. Just, you know, there's so many people that have come before us and that have gone through the same problems, but like maybe in a different medium. Like, obviously they didn't have all the modern technology that we had, but I believe that they were still going through their own day-to-day crap. And so that kind of gave me comfort one day, just knowing that, like, I'm not the first person to have this problem. I'm not going to be the last person. I'm going to get through it. I just got to be me and keep on trucking, really.
Oh my gosh, you guys, with your songs and your like One More Day Rent story, all your stories are very positive. And so if the person listening to this right now is down, they should probably feel lifted up now. And so I'm going to play the song called You're Not the First, because she said it better than me. It's like everyone's been through the same stuff.
That's right. And we want people to feel better and know that they're not alone.
World is covered with a million roads.
And now there's a song called Get Me High, which Matt just reached for his pocket. Yes, we're in San Francisco. Thank you, Matt. Matt, what can you say about this song, Matt?
Well, you know, Jen brought this song to me and she said, I need a bass line for this. And at first I heard it and, you know, I'm just thinking of the hook, you know, you get me high. And I was like, wow, it's edgy, but it's so like, I want to dance, you know, I really feel the need to dance. The second thing that caught me about it was the retro feel. There's definitely an old school feel to it, and that's something that probably about 3 months ago I noticed is happening with the rest of popular music, is it's getting that kind of 50s, 60s edge back to it. Simple but fun movements and stuff. So when she brought Get Me High to me, I loved it, and we just kind of went with, let's get people out of their chairs, let's get them moving. Because, you know, whether it's someone else or maybe it's something you're passionate about, we all have that thing that gets us high, that gives us that feeling of nostalgia or that feeling of discovery, those things that put the goosebumps on the back of our neck, that just make us know that thank God we're alive, thank God we're here in the now doing this. And for me, that's so much of what that song is. It's about living in the now and just having a blast with it.
Well, did you want to add anything, Jen?
I don't know. It's kind of similar to the whole love is a drug thing, I guess. You know, like
love is a drug, and I need to score. Are we doing Roxy music there?
A little bit. You know, you just get hooked on people and melodies and life and.
All right, well, I'm going to play it, and then we'll talk about Barbra Streisand.
Okay.
Try to take it all in.
Okay, that was Get Me High. So what's your connection to Barbra Streisand, Jen?
Well, I don't know if I would call it a connection, but when I was in college down at UNLV, she was...
That's the University of Las Vegas.
Yes. Dangerous school if you're turning 21.
I could ask you a million questions about that place. What is that place like?
Oh, it's a crazy town, and a crazy dorm, crazy place to go away from home for the first time, and to turn 21 and to become an adult. It takes a lot of self-discipline for sure, but
do a lot of students that go there, do they end up becoming strippers?
I did know a few. It goes around there, but you kind of start to judge people by where they strip, because there's like where the really hot girls go, and then there's like bottom of the barrel, and then there's the in between ones. So I
heard an interesting thing. This was on my podcast recently. I was talking to a guy who lived up in Anchorage for a while, and he said that he used to go to a lot of strip clubs, and he dated a stripper for a while, and he found out from her that a lot of strippers came down from Anchorage to Vegas and then would go back up to Anchorage, and I guess they made more money in Anchorage, but Vegas was like the next best thing, and that's bizarre, isn't it?
Well, I could see how Anchorage is like mostly male, so I mean I would think that'd be a good place to build a strip club. Tahoe is the same way, believe it or not. It's like mostly male. I think a strip club would do really well up there.
6-to-1 ratio of guys to girls.
Wow.
Yeah. Do I say it? The Tahoe motto, believe it or not, for a lot of the single guys out there is, she's not your girlfriend, she's just your turn. So,
just your turn?
Yeah. It's a almost primal.
In Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, it's South Lake Tahoe. But at the same time, I mean, there's some really beautiful, loving couples down there who rock and are awesome. But it's weird how a lot of the single guys down there have that, very primal attitude towards dating.
Wow, I had no idea about Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a bunch of trees and water.
If you're a single woman, it's a good place to go, for sure.
Really?
You got a lot of options.
So, okay, back to Vegas and UNLV, and then you meet Babs.
Barbra Streisand. So, our college choir had an opportunity to sing behind Barbra Streisand at her Millennium concert at the MGM Grand. And it was the most incredible performing experience I've ever had in my life. Being on stage, and first of all, it was like right as the world's about to turn into the millennium, which was, a crazy time. Everybody thought the world was going to end. And
I remember that.
The whole 2K craziness and
the media. That's why I've always had this issue with the media, like really ever since then, because they just so overhyped it, and then everybody bought into it, and then there was nothing. It was nothing, and just a really good time. I met a really cute girl that night. It didn't really go anywhere, but it turned out it was nice. I was in Ventura by the beach. They did a special thing. They have a fairgrounds in Ventura, which is south of Santa Barbara, and then I met this girl. It was a wonderful experience. So
it was his turn.
And it was my turn, and yours was your Millennium night was with Barbra Streisand.
Yep. We had a couple rehearsals with her, and she was a lot shorter than I thought she would be. Not made up at all, no makeup. Really down to earth, but she didn't really talk to the choir a lot that day. And then we did the show that night. It was amazing, like looking out into the audience, and everybody had those little light up LED flashlight things, and I'll just never forget standing on stage and looking down and seeing all these twinkling lights. And like my mom got a free ticket to go, and she loved Barbra Streisand, and it was just incredible. And she thanked us on stage, and I don't know.
Do you remember a particular song that stood out that you were like on stage with her singing with her?
Most of it, believe it or not, was we sung it downstairs through microphones, and then they piped it in for a lot of songs. But the one song that we got to be on stage for was called At the Same Time, and they filmed it, and you can see my head for 3 seconds right in the middle of it.
A great close-up right in the center of Jen's face. And
it's like a gift for my parents so that they can be like, there's Jenny!
And your mom sounds like she's amazing in that she drove you, and then when she couldn't drive back or something to your rehearsal. What was that?
Well, we lived 40 minutes from the town where I went to high school and where all the theater opportunities were. And we were really poor at the time. We could only afford gas for one trip to town. And so my mom would drive me to town, drop me off at rehearsal, and then she would just sit in the car for 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or however many hours and just wait for me to be done. And haul me to lessons and shows and dance class, and I mean, just unbelievable.
Dang.
I have the best family ever.
Wow. Now, I guess I should play Mi Bambino? What inspired?
O mio Babino. It's Jen. This is a piece that Jen used to do with our band, but Ben and I wouldn't play. We'd kind of step away, and Jen would do this thing on the piano, and it's a really pretty Italian piece. Well, one day her and the producer were in the studio working, and Jen was like, I just want to kind of lay this down and let's kind of see what we can do. So she laid down the track. We came back a week later, and Mario, our producer, is like, hey, I want you to hear what I did to that. And he had put together this incredible orchestration around this piece that we just fell in love with. It was very us. We felt it's extremely Jen, and Mario is he's become such a important part to our band and our overall sound, and it's nice to have a piece of him in there too for this one.
It's actually our only technical cover song on the album. It's from the opera Gianni Schicchi by Puccini, and normally it's classical opera, which we tried to stay true to as well. We've had so many roots in classical music and in Italian, and but we're turning a rock corner with this album, and I really wanted to give a little element of rock to it too. So it's a little bit of a remix. It's definitely not your traditional O mio Babino Caro, but we hope people enjoy it for what it is.
CONSTANT COOGAN. Now wait, you guys, I have to ask you, why Constant?
Well, because we're never going to end. Matt and I seem to always find a way to reinvent ourselves and get our music and our art out there in some form or another, and that seems to be the constant in our lives and hopefully the constant in other people's lives.
Yeah, I hope we don't die and take that constant away from them. That would be really nice.
That's all right, and I hope the same for you too. And now, definitely, you aren't going to be dying because you're playing a lot of places around the area, and you can't die because you got to do all these gigs that you're signed up for.
Committed. We're totally committed. So the first one I'll talk about, July 16th, here in the city in North Beach at the amazing Doc's Lab. I don't know if you've been out there yet, but it is such a great room. For me, it's one of the hottest rooms in the city. And it's in North Beach, so you you get some great food. You come down, you get some great drinks, you watch the show. Doors are going to be opening at 7, and we have an incredible lineup with us. We have Donovan Plant, the incredible Donovan Plant, who has a new project he's working on. We have Michael Rufo, who's releasing a solo album, and his band's album, No Exit, they're releasing an album as well. His whole band is going to be there with us. We have the lead dancer from our music video, Maddie Gelat, who's going to be flying out from Northern Nevada for that show to do a live performance dance while we do play Bury Me Alive. What else is happening? Is the pyrotechnics going to be there for that one or no?
No, that one got shut down.
You sometimes have pyrotechnics.
It's our fantasy life. Someday.
Well, and then are you guys going to end up in Lake Tahoe at some point?
Yeah, we've got a big show in Tahoe on August 13th. We've got Adriana Isabel from LA, who's a singer-songwriter down there. She's very talented, and she's also got roots in the Carson City area. So she's going to come up and open up for us, as well as Miss Molly May is going to be doing a little bit of music and fun for us. And our whole cast for our music video will be at that one. So we hired 7 young actors and dancers, and we choreographed and directed a whole skit and a scene for them that kind of revolves around our song Bury Me Alive, and so they're going to be performing that live there as well.
Wow, where can they find out more information about you on the internet?
Well, be sure to like our page Constant Coogan on Facebook. That pretty much is where we keep everything the most current and up to date. We're also on Twitter and Instagram as Constant Coogan, and we have SoundCloud, of course. We've got 2 of our new songs off our new album streaming there now, with everything to be released on July 1st.
And you've got a new guitarist?
Yes, we found a new guitarist for our shows in the city, just to kind of fill it out and round out the sound. And this guy, his name is Ray. He's played with the Isley Brothers, and he is so incredible. And just Ray Hidrago is his full name. Sorry. And yeah, we've really enjoyed playing with him, and he's really going to be an integral part to our band.
You got Ben Peterson on drums, and wow. So it sounds like some great shows. You're going to do Bury Me Alive, a skit version of it. What was the inspiration for the song?
The song is about overcoming shyness and social anxiety, and how that feeling just tends to give you the sensation of being buried alive, that helplessness and the hopelessness. And so we cast a music video for that song, where we hired all these young actors and dancers from Carson City, Lake Tahoe area, from this theater company that I actually grew up in, where my mom drove me the 40 miles to rehearsals. And what these kids were able to put together for us on this set, which we built on top of a ghost town, pretty much in the middle of the Nevada desert, and we dug a grave and we bury a 16-year-old girl alive, and it was intense. And this girl, she's...
Wait, should I be calling CSI or something right now?
No, don't, or child services. But this girl's an incredible dancer, an incredible actress. She's got an amazing backstory. A year ago, she had all these medical problems where she couldn't walk. She thought she would never dance again, and she slowly recovered into this incredible being and person and soul that just emits life and art, and you would never think that she had anything physically wrong with her by what she's able to express with her body.
Wow, well, you guys have a lot of soul, and you do express a lot, and I hope you are constant, because you guys are amazing. So continue, Matt and Jen Coogan of Constant Coogan. Go get some. Yeah. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much for having us and for listening today.
That was tight.
Guiding my lip, shining, I bury
Constant Coogan as we go outside a cafe anyway. We're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Next show, it'll be Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!